So I typically start with just some updates. So first off, I've had some questions about the roof. As you've seen in the newsletter and in the letter from the board and myself, that is going to be starting next week. November 13th is the tentative start date, so we're super excited about that. That's going to be the clubhouse, the pool house, and the welcome center. We did decide on a shingle color. It's a black, and we're going to eventually be painting the buildings to match that a gray. So Amy did some mock-ups. What's that program called? Photoshop, that's right. In Photoshop, so we could actually take a look at what it was going to look like, and it looks stunning. I mean, it really does. I'm getting some reverb, like some, I don't know if that's what it's called or not, but. Feedback? Yeah, feedback. Testing 1, 2. There we go. That's better. Pond renovation. It was almost dry. We almost got there. I was telling them that rain came. I drove out and saw it, and we were like pretty close to the top. The next day it was coming out of the overflow, so it completely filled back up. We almost had that thing dry. We're going to try to start in December, but it does need to be somewhat dry for them to dig that out. So cross your fingers, say a prayer. We really want it to happen in December, but we can't control the weather as much as we'd like to. So the total cost of those two projects, and so the pond renovation is $25,000, and there's an extra $5,000 in there, as you saw in the newsletter, because there's also some beautification that's going to happen around the pond as well. So we're still in the planning phases of that, but there's been talk of a possible boardwalk. Definitely want to redo the fishing stand. What would you call that little dock out there with the cleaning station? We'd love to redo that as well. So that's $127,671.69. So that's $19.91 per owner. And then we asked in the letter if you want to round up to include paint. And again, this money is going to our capital improvements fund. And I've talked about this a couple of times because I've had owners say, in the past, I wasn't sure what that fund is at. I don't know what that money is being used for. Starting in January, you're going to see that on the financials. It'll be a temporarily restricted fund that you'll see grow and shrink on the balance sheet as we spend and receive money in there. So if we were to receive, let's say, way more than the project cost, that doesn't mean that money just goes into the general fund to be used for whatever. It stays in that capital improvement fund. It's going to be temporarily restricted, so only for capital improvement projects. Let's see. Just the roofs. Don't want to quote you the wrong number. No, you're fine. You're fine. That's why I brought it. Okay, so the roofs alone were $97,671.69. And then the pond was $25,000 plus an additional $5,000 for the beautification, so totaling $30,000. Okay, yeah. And this newsletter, if you haven't gotten it, it is on online on our website under the newsletter portion, and then there'll also be copies at the front desk as well, or at the Welcome Center, I'm sorry. Veterans Day Parade is coming up on Monday. If you are a veteran and you'd like to participate in that or ride along, contact Amy. Amy at tlresort.com, and she can get you the details of when we're meeting up there to start that. And then after that, at 2 p.m., we'll be doing a crosswalk dedication for Jack Mustard and also celebrating our veterans, so I invite you to come out for that. It's going to be right over here to the right if you're looking at it this way, so there'll be some chairs set up, and it's going to be a good time. So Glenda, her last day was yesterday. We gave her a cake. I told her it's the Hotel California, and she already knows that. She's checked out several times but has never left, so we're looking forward to inviting her back at some point. And then, unfortunately, Bruno, as you saw in the newsletter, this is his last season, so if you haven't done so, stop by, tell him how much you appreciate him and his food and his team. And a great way to do that is after this meeting, just go get breakfast and tell him, because they're open for breakfast right now. So, half-price golf carts starting on December 1st, and half-price cabins January and February. For the September financials, we're still waiting on a final version. So When we get the draft version from Abacus, we pour through it line by line, look for obvious errors, which there were some, and there are some most months. We meet with a finance committee, and Gary is on that finance committee as our treasurer. And then we send a whole list of questions to Abacus, and they're, hey, this number, in the past we didn't spend this much, why is this up this much? And oftentimes we find that things are either categorized in the wrong category, or like this time we had a double entry. That was a pretty large double entry for fireworks next year that skewed the financials by $20,000. So luckily we're looking through those, we're sending those questions, and now we're waiting for the final version to come out with those changes. So those will be coming soon. Storage contracts will be going out next week, so look for those in the mail. And volunteer day went great. Did you guys see the bridges? They definitely pop. They look amazing. So if you came out to help with that, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. And that's all the updates I have. So now we'll open up to questions. Yes, sir.
The capital improvement fund, any donations that are made to that, like now, will go for the roofs and the pond renovation?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the questions I've got from owners is, well, I'm sure you guys have already entered into a contract with the roofing company. They gave you a bid and you probably already paid half of it. Well, yeah, that's correct. The money that's going into the capital improvement fund, that'll be deducted by that amount. So it will be paying for the roofs and the pond renovation. Absolutely. And then, like I said, as we move through this year and next, you're welcome to donate to that fund at any time. What we're going to try to do is anytime there's a major project upcoming, is let the owners know how much it would cost per each owner. And that went live on the website. The letter went out, and within like 3 or 4 hours of it going out, we had multiple $100 donations to that fund. So people are supporting that, and we really appreciate that. And like I said, any money, it's not like we're going to hit that number and then the rest of it goes in the general fund. That's not what happens. All of that money stays in that capital improvement fund. So. You can do it on one check and specify this amount. I would rather have 2 checks, but we can certainly handle it on one check as long as you clearly identify where you want the additional to go. Yep. Yes, sir.
2 parts. Down here at the bottom of the stairs where the concrete goes out and it goes into the parking lot, when I was taking stuff back out to the truck last night, getting ready to close up the store, there was 2 couples that was out there. There was 2 couples out there in the dark, and they said, "Are you the manager?" I said, "Oh, no." I said, "I just work in the store." But she said that last year she had stepped off and literally fell off that. There's a 1 step right before you go to the parking lot. And in the dark last night, you absolutely could not see it.
Yeah.
I don't know whether maybe a couple little solar lights on either side, but some kind of reflective paint or something on it. And then, do you have any updates on those lights out there? That would have even helped.
Yeah, so no updates on the lights as of today, but after our last week's meeting, somebody brought up the same thing, specifically with the steps. So Wally's actually already ordered the solar lights for those. They're sitting in his office and they'll be installed soon. So yeah, absolutely. Want to make sure everybody's safe. For those of you that didn't hear the whole question, he was just saying that there was some people that almost fell out there on the steps. So want to make sure that that's nice and bright for people. So.
And some paint.
And some paint, yeah.
Or reflective something.
Yeah,
Would help.
yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir.
So regarding the per owner cost, I didn't know anything about that because unfortunately I get most of my news from Facebook and it's hit or miss. So is there any way that we can increase the exposure of that information so that more people will participate and get?
Absolutely. Did that get posted on Facebook? So it was posted on Facebook. We sent it out via email, and it's in the newsletter. You did not get an email.
It was moved to the owner's page also.
And then somebody's moved it to a group outside of a Treasure Lake site as well. if you didn't get an email, get with Amy. We find that a lot of time, do you ever get any Treasure Lake emails? Okay, so we probably have the wrong email address for you. Sometimes some people say, well, I get some emails, but I didn't get this newsletter update. There's preferences that if you scroll all the way down to the last email you got, select preferences, it'll bring up a page, and just make sure that all communication is checked, and that way you get all emails. If you're not getting any though, we probably have the wrong email address for you. So give your email address to Amy with your owner number, and we'll get that updated so you get those emails, absolutely. And it sounds like maybe we need to, it might be good if can we tag that letter to the top of our page or make it more visible? We'll look at doing something like that. That way if somebody didn't see it as it was posted, they see it when they get on there. So I'd love to gain some exposure on that. Yes, sir.
One of the things we've been noticing lately at the gate is the 15 mile an hour speed limit out here.
50 mile an hour speed limit.
I think they think it's 50 miles an hour. But as soon as the gate opens, wham, they go flying down through there, and that's a busy traffic area.
Yeah.
With foot traffic and cars. There's a sign down on the other end, on the fence on the right-hand side, that says 15 miles an hour. I'm wondering if it'd help to put a 15 mile an hour sign right here by the fence on this end. Just put a sign that says 15 miles an hour. If I see somebody coming in and I know they're running well over the speed limit, I say, look, speed limit is 15 miles an hour out there, same as it is in here. So,
Thank you for pointing that out. So, yeah, this road before you get to the guard shack, that is still Treasure Lake property. It is 15 miles an hour coming through there. I know you're excited to get to the gate and get in Treasure Lake and enjoy all the amenities and the fun camping, but definitely keep that speed low. He's right, it's a high traffic area, and we'd hate for somebody to have an accident out there because that would shut down the gate. And
Even if you only do 15 coming up to the gate, and I ran into this the other night, after the Welcome Center closes, people check in at the guard check. The other night there was a line 1.5 miles long. There was an RV checking in when we pulled up, and we were, I think, 2 cars behind, another RV behind us. So whoever was behind that other RV probably waited half an hour to get through the gate. Is there anything that can be done to
speed that up.
speed that up?
Yeah, it's a tough situation because it's one lane. Now, there was somebody that was, another security officer was notified. He came down there to open the out gate and try to speed that process up. By the time he got down there, the line was gone. So I would say make sure you have all your stuff ready. Security officers are doing their best to get you checked in as quickly as possible. I think long term, it would be great if we had maybe a second lane there, but I don't know what that looks like, and that's just me talking. So,
But a second lane, there really isn't room for the incoming. There might be for the outgoing. But another thought would be to the gate the road that goes past the pavilion, put a gate reader there so people could come in and out. Going out's the same way with people checking out. If you're going to a show or something and you think, oh, we're running late, and then you're stuck behind somebody checking out for 10 or 15 minutes, that can be a problem too.
yeah, absolutely. And I would caution all owners that if you do have plans or a show, just know that there might be other people coming at the same time. We're going to do our best to operate within what we have and ensure that, if we've got extra people, then we're going to send them out to hopefully speed that checkup process out. We don't want people waiting. That's the first time I've heard of that idea, like adding a second checkout point or just card reader for people that aren't needing to check in. They can get into the park. That's something that we can think about as well. As far as adding another lane, those little buildings can move. So, I mean, if we really wanted to, we could probably figure out a way to do that. But, yeah.
But it might be cheaper to just put a gate reader on the gate before the veterans wall.
Yeah, the only thing is, I think most of that issue is caused by people wanting to check in, and a gate reader wouldn't solve that problem.
Well,
When you're
but
coming in, you could go around it.
if you're already
Yeah.
checked in and have a gate card, and there's a big backup, then
Yeah.
you could just go through that gate
Absolutely.
and avoid that backup.
Yeah.
It'd be the same as the
The
backup.
people sitting there are still going to be mad, though, that they're checked. they're going to be even more mad seeing you go around. No, I'm just kidding. So, I was made aware of the issue. By the time I learned about it and got out there was no line. Like I came out there and there's no line, and I'm like, what are they talking about? So I know that it was a slowdown period. Security did the best they could to add some people down there and try to speed things up. And by the time reinforcements arrived, there was no issue anymore. So, but live and learn. We'll certainly try to do a better job at that. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if you know this, but coming in now, the Christmas decorations are out back. Treasure Lake cannot come in the back gate now. They have to come around to the front until those Christmas decorations are gone. So don't be surprised when we can't get in.
Yeah, at night, right?
Sorry, yes.
Yeah, so at night, if you are coming, for everybody watching, if you're coming to Treasure Lake and you favor the back gate, just realize that they have a Christmas light show drive that they charge for, and you won't be able to get through there to get to the back gate. So please use the front gate. Hello, sir. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Are there any plans to fix the front entrance, the road coming off of?
Are there any plans to fix the front entrance road, so right out here? No, but you're not the first person to bring that up. I would say that's certainly something that's somebody considered in the long-term and strategic plan, and that's been brought up. Amy, can you just jot that down to make sure that that stays on the top of my list? When the long-range planning committee meets, I'm going to have a whole bunch of stuff to sit in front of them, and we're going to encourage people to send their ideas, thoughts, this would be nice list, and at that point we just sit down and start prioritizing stuff, looking at cost, estimated cost, and what needs to be a higher priority than other things, and that's certainly on that list to consider.
Impression people have.
Exactly, yeah, and I've heard that those bumps are no fun.
No fun. It's good.
No fun. Yes, sir.
I'm the crazy guy with a crazy Jeep.
You're the crazy guy with a crazy Jeep. I'm not going to hand you the mic.
No, don't hand me no mic.
I'm gonna hold
I'll
on
reach
to
you.
it, but I'm going to let you speak into it.
We need a Jeep. Don't we need a Jeep to show veterans what we believe in, what we love, what we fought for, what my uncle died for? I mean, it's a miniature Jeep. I never saw one in my life. I'm 72 years old.
And you've got a miniature
I got it
Jeep?
right out the door there.
Okay.
Can we do something with it?
Can we do something with
Yeah,
you want to gift it to Treasure Lake?
Well, no, I didn't want to give it. I want to use it.
come on now.
Not abuse it. Use
Okay.
it.
I'm sure that we can find a use for the Jeep, even if it's just parked as something
That's
somebody
it.
can look
It's parked
at.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Look at it.
Get with Amy afterwards.
Okay.
I think it might be a good side piece for the Mustard Crossing dedication we're doing on Veterans Day. Yeah. You okay with people touching it?
They can do what they want.
Lick it. Okay. Can they drive it? I might want to drive it. I like Jeeps.
I'm one-man driver.
Okay. One-man driver. All right. Any other questions? It's a little late to get it into the parade, but next year, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, don't tear it up. All right. Dig deep. Come on.
Is it gonna rain anymore? Help me.
Yes.
I lived in a tent last night all by myself. Nobody got there with me. No other veterans.
You used to shake the 8 ball, signs point to yes. Yes, sir.
There was I don't remember what site it was on, a survey, another poll, about a dog park. And Ranson does have a dog park. If people want to take their dog to a dog park, they do have one. It's a membership. You have to buy the membership, show proof of vaccination, and the non-resident is $35 a year. So if people are interested in a dog park, that's an alternative.
Okay. Good information to have. Dog park's been brought up a couple of times. I know that it was really discussed hard before I got here, and there were some concerns over insurance cost increase, but I'm not saying don't ever bring that up again. Ensure that the long-term planning committee knows that that's a want from owners. So if it's something that's wanted. Are you anti-dog park? I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay, not only am I anti-dog park, I'm anti-listening to dogs bark and stepping in their crap.
So we got a strong anti-dog parker among us here. So we want a cat park? That'd be interesting. Put it right next to the dog park. We'll sell tickets for the show. Yes, ma'am.
I don't remember reading anything about Thanksgiving. Are we gonna do anything?
It's on the calendar.
I'll do
Thanksgiving dinner in here,
Thanksgiving dinner in here,
1 p.m.
1 p.m. on Thanksgiving. A Friendsgiving.
Is it supposed to bring something? Is there a cost?
Is there a cost, or are you supposed to bring something?
More details coming.
More details coming. I have not even thought about Thanksgiving. I've been here for almost 5 months now, and getting through the annual meeting and everything leading up to that has been a big learning experience for me. So please give me a little bit of grace and our team a little bit of grace, but that's absolutely something that we want to do. And it sounds like it's already on the calendar, but we're still figuring out some details. So
I don't want to speak for Annie, so. Annie-
don't want to speak for Annie. So Annie probably already has the plan, but we don't know the plan yet. Annie's awesome. I'm sure it's going to be great. What would be the best way for us to update everybody on that? Is everybody Facebook would be good, because I don't want to send out I'm trying really hard not to overwhelm people with emails, because then they go in their preferences and check it off, and then a year later they say, I'm not getting any emails. So I want to make sure that we're not overwhelming people with emails. So Facebook we could do an update on the website too, yeah, and the app. So website, app, and Facebook, check those things for details on Thanksgiving dinner. Dinner.
We also have the calendars up at the front gate.
Yep, calendars at the front gate. They're at the Welcome Center. If you go to Annie or Amy and say, I need a calendar, they'll find you one. So,
Speaking of the website, I was looking at the rates the other day, and I don't remember what it was now, but it is not up to date.
the rates on the website are not up to date.
Right. And that's.
Amy's
the
taking a
trouble
note
with
of that.
website. If you don't keep it up to date, then why have a website?
Yeah, any source of information, if it's not up to date, it's really useless. It causes issues. So, yeah. I appreciate that. We'll check into that. Do you know what page it was on by any chance?
It was on the rates. just
Rates.
the rates page.
Okay.
And I can't recall now which rate it was.
We'll take a look at it.
Where's the menu for Thanksgiving?
Oh, she's got the menu pulled up for Thanksgiving.
After I asked.
All right. Roast turkey and gravy. Jenny's mushroom stuffing, green bean casserole, cornbread, and butter pumpkin spice cake. Sounds delicious. All right. Well, there you go.
Sorry, I didn't know it.
No, it's fine. That's what these are for. There's a bunch of people watching that aren't here to ask that question, and it just got answered. So. It's time for my joke. Time for my joke. When it gets real quiet, I act like I'm going to leave. Okay.
My wife ain't talking to me right now. I said, I want to go somewhere this month. She said, I want to go somewhere I haven't been in a long time. I said, how about the kitchen?
What's your name? I just want to make sure everybody gets your name, Facebook profile. His views do not express the views of Treasure Lake. What else? Any legalese I need to put in there? Soon to be single. All right.
So, I remember that 2 years ago, the money from the buffet went to lighting the walking path. Is there any information on that?
Yeah, so that's something that's been brought up a few times. That's we can dive into that a little bit. I think there was some in the past. There are some people that have told me, no, it was absolutely dedicated 100% to that. The understanding of the organization is the people volunteering in the breakfast could give ideas and say this is where we'd like it to go to, but ultimately it was the board's decision on where that stuff went. Lighting was on the plan. We have still not located the poles that were supposedly purchased, and honestly, it hasn't been like top priority for me. So, Amy, jot that one down again. I know it's been brought up multiple times. Well, no, it's important. You're not the only one with the question. I get the question a lot. Yeah, and I'm going to have to go start looking in places. But from what I understand, there was some things purchased to accomplish that project. It never got accomplished. So we need to work on that.
Did they decide what this past year's was going to, or suggestions?
Have they decided what the past year's is going to, or have any suggestions?
Funds from breakfast was going to?
I think most people just want the lighting on the walking trail done.
That was a year ago.
Yeah.
This year's, I didn't hear anything. They hadn't decided.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything on a decision on where that was supposed to go. So maybe we can discuss that at the work session as well, board meeting maybe, and just decide where that. If it were up to me, my opinion would be put it toward this capital improvement fund, and help it pay for the roof and the ponds for this past year stuff. So.
The walking trail is capital improvement.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah. So it would keep that intended purpose. Some people have said, well, we don't know how much money is supposed to be in there, and I've told them when it comes to that time, we can go back and look to see what the net profit was of the cafe or the breakfast, the lodge breakfast, and then that amount of money could then be earmarked toward capital improvements if the board decided to do that. So
another question. Has there been any discussion on trying to upgrade the Wi-Fi a little more?
has there been any discussion on trying to upgrade the Wi-Fi a little bit more? Yes. So history from the way I understand it, we spent quite a bit of money building up infrastructure on the park to allow for Wi-Fi. And the idea was we would charge for the Wi-Fi to pay for the project. The Wi-Fi coverage was so bad that the board did not feel it was right to charge for it. And you guys correct, I've got 2 board members in here, so they can correct me if I'm wrong. And then we had to switch to like a T-Mobile hotspot to actually provide Wi-Fi to people. Now, there are some places in the park that Wi-Fi strength is okay. But when the project was initially started, we didn't have as many people streaming. There wasn't as many devices that connected. And nowadays, you need so much bandwidth because everybody has 5 devices. In each person, their family has at least 2, and that just really slows that down. We met with a company 2 weeks ago that has come in and said, here's what it would look like if we actually gave you guys 88 to 90% coverage. That's something we're gonna look at in long-term planning, but I mean it'll be done. It would be, if decided to be done, it would be done in phases, and it's costly. And we just paid off, I think 2 months ago, the cost of that original infrastructure. So we just need to be really, I would just encourage owners and the board and our staff to really be thinking about, is this an investment that we want to make now or in a year? Is it future proof? Luckily, a lot of the infrastructure that was put in place, it's not like it went to waste. They laid fiber. We can use that fiber for park upgrades, so we're not looking at the same amount as it was originally. And we've also looked at additional bandwidth. So instead of the current gig that we have, we could move to 10 gig. But again, that would be wasted if we don't have good coverage. So does that answer your question? Yeah. It's something that's been discussed. I don't know when that's gonna land. So you look like you're about to say something else, so I didn't want to cut you off. You good? Thinking. All right.
It takes a bit while.
When did they install the Wi-Fi?
What year did they install the Wi-Fi? I don't have that answer off the top of my head. Either of you?
I don't know.
10 years?
About 5 years ago.
5 years ago?
Oh, more than that.
Is it more than that?
She's saying it's a bit more than that.
Okay, that makes sense, okay. 2018.
2018.
Yeah, they think 6 years ago.
We're doing Treasure Lake in 17 and it was
shortly after that, because I remember paying for a year. We paid for a year's Wi-Fi.
How was it?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't get to use it. No.
That's been a couple of days ago.
Yeah, gotcha. Technology's hard because it's, I mean, as the years progress, technology changes quicker. And when you're looking at an infrastructure upgrade, I just want to make sure that whatever we do, it is as future-proof as possible. So. Yeah, I need to know that in 3 years, one of the things that I asked was, you know, the nodes that we're talking about, like how much hardware are we looking at and how much of it is software? Because software you can patch, you can update, you can make better. The hardware is the part that is usually your limiting factor. So the price was not like blow me out of the water scary, but it's still a significant cost. So per phase, and each phase is a little different. But I saw their map. They actually came out and did a survey. They produced a heat map that showed where we currently are and the problems that we're having, and then overlaid where they would put in a different type of node and more of them to ensure more coverage. And I love the fact that, because I was told you guys were promised 100% coverage, and the guy said you can never promise 100% coverage. You just can't. But this shows you in reality, hey, here's how much coverage you would get in this plan. If you spent another $20,000, we could add so many more nodes and you'd have this much coverage. And I think we have to balance, you know, what's feasible with the amount of coverage. So.
Was the new review done by the same people who did
No.
the original? Okay.
No, it is not the same people. Yeah, absolutely not.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, that is a good thing. Any other questions? You thinking still? All right.
We can go back to bed.
See the wheel go back to bed. It's one of those rainy days. Get your breakfast first, and then go back to bed. Go visit Rock and Roll. Get you a cinnamon roll, biscuits and gravy. That's where I'm heading directly after this. Hang on one second.
Is there a plan on paper for what's going to be done in the 3 phases this winter?
Is there a plan in writing on paper that's going to be done in the 3 phases as of now? No, there's not. So we're right in the middle of hiring for that manager position. I would like that individual, whoever's selected, to be part of that planning process. We've walked around, we've taken a look at some sites, we definitely have a good idea, but it's not like in writing with quotes or anything next to it. So
has anybody took over the position of running the breakfast at the lodge next year?
has anybody taken over the position of running the breakfast at the lodge next year? No. So what we're looking at doing is, instead of it being kind of a separate entity entirely that is run by a group of volunteers, we're still going to need volunteers for it. So hear me when I say that. But it's going to directly fall under the food and beverage team. So I think that makes the most sense. The next person that we have that's going to be our food and beverage manager will oversee the ordering. And so if we do have somebody that can step up and run that, it'll be less of time for them. I mean, they'll be able to come in there and do what they need to do, but not have to spend as much time as in the past. And just so everybody knows, we're not getting rid of the lodge breakfast. Overwhelming support for the lodge breakfast, including myself. Love the pancakes, bacon, and eggs. So just now starting to lose some of that weight. It will continue in the future.
Okay, I really don't have a question. I just want to say this is the first managers meeting, or meet the manager we've been to, and we did not go to the annual meeting, but several months ago, things were looking pretty bleak. And I'm glad to see it looks like things are turning around and we're going to step in the right direction.
Yeah.
And one question I do have is, when things got bad, the resale on the memberships went way down. What is the price of a new membership through Treasure Lake right now?
So the current price is $1,500 for a new membership. And if you refer somebody, you get $200. In January, we're going to be doing a membership sale for $1,000. So everybody will get a coupon. We're not sure if that's going to be a digital coupon or a paper coupon yet, more to come. But regardless, you'll have a coupon that'll have your owner number on it, your name on it, and if you give that coupon to a friend or family member, or just some guy on the street, it really doesn't matter, and say, hey, you can go buy a Treasure Lake membership with this for $1,000. If they bring that into the office, we're going to track, you only get one. But if you give that person that coupon, we're going to mark it off our list as claimed. And there's 1,000 of them that will sell that way, up to 1,000. So, and what's that?
4,000.
Yeah, that's what I said, $1,000. Yeah, 1,000 at 1,000.
Dated?
Is it dated?
Program dated?
We didn't decide on an end date, but I would assume it would be for 1 year calendar, 1 calendar year. Now, if they're all claimed in March, we're done.
So, want that to be clear, when you send these coupons out, personally, I don't think we should be giving the member $200.
We're not, yeah, and let me make that very clear. Yeah, on the sale, you're not getting that referral, the $200 referral bonus, okay? So that's only currently at the $1,500. And that was actually a question last week that I promised to answer this week. It is answered. Let me come to you real quick.
Is that $1,500? Is that lower than what it used to be?
Is-
Seems like I paid more than that.
Is that lower than what it used to be? It depends on what time frame you're looking at. It certainly is. We did the math. Do you remember what the math was? Were you in there when we did the math? So we took into account what a dollar's worth now versus what it was worth in the 80s, and then we looked at how much the memberships were selling for, and I think it was like $10,000 in like today's money is what they sold for in the 80s. So yeah, it's certainly less than what it was.
That's what they sold for in the 80s.
Yeah.
But we need the membership for the revenue on our dues.
Yeah, he said we need the revenue from the membership on the dues. Absolutely. And of course, just selling the memberships at 1,000 at 1,000 is going to be quite an influx of cash. So absolutely.
So has there been any more discussion about they talked about $150 at one time assessment?
Has there been any more discussion about a $150 assessment was his question? No. So one of the things when there was an assessment sent out early 2024, or was it 23? 23. There was an assessment sent out. There was a resounding, we don't like this. Don't do this. And it's really important to note that an assessment in the there's very few things that allow for an assessment of our memberships according to the bylaws. Okay, so the board can't decide unless we're in certain situations tax-wise to force a fee on owners. And when I talked with owners, they said we'd be more than happy to pay. We just don't know what we're paying for. Like I want to see, if you're asking me to pay $200, where's that money going? And the board agreed with that 100%. They want the owners to know where that money's going, which is where that letter came from. It's not an assessment, but it's a request for donation to the capital improvement projects. And it's like I said, every Meet the Manager meeting I've had that this has been discussed, there's been huge support for it. We're happy to donate. I'll donate twice. I've had multiple people say, as long as we know where that money's going, which is why it was important for us in that letter to say, hey, this is exactly how much the roof costs. And we got 4 bids on the roof and spent a lot of time comparing. Tim Wells, our board member, actually built this amazing spreadsheet that got it down to square inch of material at cost, so that we could really compare apples to apples, because roof quotes sometimes can be really hard to compare apples to apples. And we were able to look at that data and make a really informed decision. I feel really good about the decision that we made there. So we showed that on the letter, divided by this many current members equals, I think it's $19.60 something cents. So again, you know exactly where that money's going. It's not a forced assessment. It's a if you would like to. And we've already had multiple donations, some of them, like I said, $100, because people want to see the projects happen. And I think people are more confident now that when they donate that money, it's going to go into a temporarily restricted fund that's not used for anything else. And I can assure you of that. So as long as you put restricted, make sure you put restricted. So restricted capital improvements. Gary, you're staring at me. Do you have something to say? He had his thinking eyes on.
Yeah, there's something that was going around in my mind.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It was in regard to if individuals wanted to donate, or if we could arrange for it when they check out, and if they wanted to put their $10 gate card fee towards the capital improvement. I was trying to figure out how the logistics of that could be worked out.
Yeah, that's certainly, if at any time, I mean, you can walk up there right now and say, I'm checking out, Michael, I want to donate $10 to the fund. That we can handle that. Yeah, absolutely. So, and you would also be able to, I mean, logistically, it's the same, the money just isn't changing hands, right? So keep the deposit for the gate card, make sure it goes toward, yeah, toward capital improvement funds. We can certainly handle that. So yeah, if that's something you'd like to do.
That sounds like a wonderful idea, and if the board says, or whoever we have to go through to do it, it would be nice when people check in to let them know that, instead of just at these meetings, because we come and go a lot. And for the number of people that come through, I mean, it don't seem like much, but $10 over 5,000 members is $50,000 extra. You know?
Absolutely.
And this is a world-class resort.
Yes, sir, it is.
And we need to keep improving it, either adding a few amenities that everybody can use. You know, I've always said, you know, and I'm getting old too, like everybody, but
30 ain't old.
Huh?
30 ain't old.
Yeah, 69 is, so. But 80 don't look old to me now. But I believe that we have done a lot of good things. It's kind of like a church. If you don't have the youth involved, that's what's made the resort over the years, is the youth coming, they grow up, they want to be here. We got to keep doing stuff to keep the youth involved so the people keep coming back. Even the parents, grandparents that will want to bring their kids here, that don't ever come down. They still have a membership. But those kids see it, man, I want to go. And that's what's going to make this even a better world-class resort. I mean, we got to keep youth coming in, and the younger generation. I understand people, you know, I watch the Red website, and a lot of people you can't make happy with this born with a golden spoon. There's talk about dogs, there's talk about cats and all that. Families is what we got to take care of. I was against the dog limit because some people have 3 dogs, and as people get older, that is their family. You know, the kids, they won't go without them, you know. And so I understand the dog barking and everything. I ain't saying nothing against it, but dogs need to be mined and everything. But we need the younger generation coming in and keep building assets for the younger generation to fill in for us to work on.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you said it's a lot like a church, and
So is he saying that
Can he come by himself, or we would have to come too?
No, he's saying that we need to ensure that Treasure Lake positions itself attractive to young families. We need to do everything in our power to make sure that we're attracting, and that doesn't mean that we exclude or forget about our owners that have been here and they're more seasoned, okay? But we certainly, Gary, you're over seasoned. Well seasoned, that's, yeah. But we do need to do things that attract younger families. Like a church, if your church doesn't have a youth program, your church is on its way to die, right? I mean, it's a fact of life. That doesn't mean that we forget about our long-term owners, but that does mean that we have to ensure that we remain attractive to young families. And that's something the activities team and Amy, she's put together kind of an ad hoc marketing team as well. She's now our director of programs and marketing to ensure that we're reaching those families in the future. And then part of the long-term planning is ensuring that we're looking ahead at what the park is going to look like in 10 years to put in more amenities that are going to attract young families, holding activities that are going to attract young families. And I think they've done an amazing job over the past year, both Amy and Annie. We saw so many families down at the Halloween celebration. That was amazing. So much fun. So.
And yes, we want her son to come, and we want him to buy a membership.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but he'll inherit ours.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't want more than one child?
Yeah.
Okay, one by one, and the other one gets you membership. That's what we're doing with ours.
Yeah.
I mean, we're
He's your favorite.
Well, you make it a competition starting now. You reap the benefits, yeah, and then give it to a cousin, okay? You give it to one of their cousins.
Last week we discussed that you could get your certificate from somebody else who isn't going to use it and give that to the second son.
Yeah, she's bringing up last week. Somebody said, "Well, I've got one of those coupons, so the 1,000 memberships at $1,000 coupons. Can I give it to another owner that has more than one person that wants to utilize that coupon?" Absolutely, yeah. Well, I don't care who you give the coupon to. You only get one claimed in your name. Yes, sir.
When we do this, you call for the special projects and you want people to donate to it. When that is finished, do you come back in a newsletter or somewhere and say, hey, we've finished this right here? Because I donated a bunch of money, not a bunch of money, for me it was. But anyhow, we're here to redo the pads and that, but I never saw anything that said, well, we put in 10 pads,
Yeah.
we put in 20 pads,
Yeah, I would love to be able to report back to you guys exactly, hey, this is how many donations we received toward the capital improvement fund, this is how much we've spent, and this is what we got accomplished. Absolutely. I think that's really important. I want every owner to know where those dollars went and be able to see it. So.
Another thing I want to say is watching Facebook.
We don't talk about Facebook here.
No, but it looks like to me the negativism has gone down a lot.
Okay.
And I'm one to get on there and say, hey, leave the park alone. They're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Because that's what we as owners need to do is help stop that. Because dissension is what ruins a place.
Yeah, I've heard from several new owners that have said, we almost didn't buy because of Facebook. But we came down, and on the park, it's not like that. But if you get on Facebook, it seems like this is a lot going on that's horrible. So, yeah, it's better. The park is doing great. As you said, public opinion or owner opinion for those that maybe aren't on the park all the time but are on Facebook are starting to turn around as well. And it doesn't mean that they don't have valid concerns that we want to hear, but it needs to be done in a constructive way to better the park.
We have board members, and we got a manager that runs this place.
Yep.
The manager runs it, the board helps.
And an amazing team of people making it happen.
We need to come back to you first.
Yeah. My cards are up there. There's 3 owners right now that have reached out to me that I haven't gotten back to. So it's really important for me to, if it's a really busy time, sometimes those lag out a couple weeks, but I will get back to you eventually. I mean, if you've emailed me and gotten a response, raise your hand. Yeah, so I try to respond as quickly as possible. If it's not in a week, send me another email. It'll bump it up on my priority list. But please come to me, come to the board, let them know your concerns, and they will be addressed. So.
I think you're doing a good job.
Well, thank you. We got an amazing team, great board. Yeah, it's a team effort, and it also takes the owners contributing too, like you said, getting out in front of that stuff and saying, "Hey guys, let me reframe this for you."
And the work campers.
When I say staff, when I say staff, that includes our work campers for sure. Volunteers that came out during the volunteer day. It takes all of us to make this place a success, and we're getting there.
I don't know what it would cost, but I'm all for having an appreciation dinner or something for the work campers that are in.
Yeah.
Because,
They put in a lot of work.
They put in a lot of work, and their pay is not that much, except for a nice place to stay.
Yeah.
And every one of us should appreciate the work campers,
Absolutely. So he's heading up the committee for the dinner next week. Pulled pork? No? Okay.
He's on top of it, ain't he?
If somebody has an idea, you've also just volunteered, so. Yes, ma'am.
What is the minimum contract for work campers? What's the minimum you can contract?
What's the minimum contract? We don't have a minimum contract on a work camper. There may have been in the past, I've heard that different numbers thrown out. The only thing that I would consider is so our front desk staff, we've had turnover in the organization. So Michael, who's our reservation, he's working front desk reservation, and he's our new storage coordinator as well. And especially on, Sunday, it's wonderful. He's awesome at what he does, and we're out there trying to hire people to fill those positions. And somebody said, well, can we get a work camper in here for 2 months? I'm like, it's a good idea. And I went to Stacy. I'm like, hey, we could get a work camper in here for a couple of months. And she's like, if they have not been in this job before, no campground, know the reservation system, by the time they learned it, they'd be gone. So things like that I would consider in a contract for sure. I would want somebody to come in and just get their feet wet and then be leaving. But we're putting together our staffing plan right now for next year as part of our budget build. So we're going to have a really clear idea on how many positions that we're going to need to ramp up to during the busy season. So a lot of work being done in future planning for next year.
Should we not look for owner work campers above non-owner work campers?
Should we not look for owner work campers above and beyond? I think it would depend on the position. I agree that I would want an owner. They're going to care more about the park than somebody that's not an owner. If we had a work camper position, though, that was very specific and needed a certain skill that we couldn't find internally, I would want to hire externally to ensure that person, that job can get done and serve Treasure Lake well. So, yes, sir.
What you gotta watch out for on your work people that volunteer to do the work in that is, what are you gonna do if somebody has an accident or something on you? That plays into it big time.
Yeah, and so for those individuals that are work camping, they're, especially if they're 24/16 or 24/8, they're on our work comp just like any other employee would be. So I really don't see work campers as volunteers. I see they're in our HR system, they're employees.
Well, I was meaning the volunteer.
Oh, like the volunteer day.
People volunteer and want to do this and do that.
Yeah, I've had people say like, hey, Uncle Bob taught me how to wire when I was 7, and I will wire up that place for you no problem. That's great. I'm sure Uncle Bob was a great electrician. Those sort of things, though, we have to do internally and get certified, or hire somebody outsourced to come fix that, because we want to make sure we're up to code, that we're being safe, somebody doesn't die, and then we find out that Uncle Bob actually laid stone and had nothing to do with it.
Now, only got one more thing to say.
Yeah.
People are talking about having the dog park. I just want to let them know that they make a thing, it's kind of a string that you hook on your dog like this, and then you walk it around, and it saves on doctor bills big time.
Gotcha. I think the word you're looking for is leash, I think. Leash.
Yeah, but, you know, you got great trails out here to walk
Yeah.
around on there, and you walk. I walk my dogs 1.6 miles every day.
Yeah.
Well, like, I don't do it Sunday, but everybody's Sunday.
Oh, see.
You know,
Okay.
it keeps you in shape. It keeps you away from the doctor.
Yep. And keeps your dog well exercised. Absolutely. How's the poop bag situation going? Have we had plenty of poop bags out on the trails?
Bring your own.
Animal mess bags? It's a joke. Okay, a couple weeks ago we had about a 10-minute conversation about poop bags. Yeah, that's why I was asking. Did it get done? I haven't went and physically checked the dispensers, so.
Yeah, my wife was walking our dog, and a guy kind of stole her bag, and I thought she'd be upset. She said, "Wait till it opens."
He's my comic relief. He said he was walking, his wife was walking, and somebody stole her bag, and he said that they were going to be surprised when they opened it because it had already been used. So. The old poop bag thief. Any other questions? What time are we at?
Almost.
We're there? Oh, we're getting close. Nothing? Get me back to work. This is one of the days I'm taking off early because I'll be here on Monday, and Monday's usually my day off, and we got a full day planned on Monday. So if you try to come look for me at my office today, I'll be here for a little bit after the meeting to eat breakfast, and then I'm probably going to jet out of here. So my cards are up here at the front, though. I'll leave those out while I eat some biscuits and gravy. And if you need anything, email, stop by when I'm here. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate Treasure Lake. We're doing awesome. Keep going strong. Yeah.